Grab your car keys, Wargamers, because today we're doing a book review from the seat of our car like some kind of comic book savage. By way of apology, let me at least show you that the parking lot we're sitting in is a warm, tropical parking lot filled with summer breezes and overlooking the waves. Man, why would a guy who lives in a place like this spend all his time indoors wargaming? Hey, we're wargamers. We're an odd sort. What do you expect? Today we're talking about Iain Dickie's Wargaming on a Budget, Gaming Constrained by Money or Space. And this is a nice, tight little book that's perfect for anyone looking to get into wargaming, or if there's a lot of different reasons why you might get something out of this book. For experienced wargamers who have a collection, who have been doing this for years, there may not be a whole lot in this book for you, but experienced wargamers are well-read and don't so much concern themselves with how long it takes them to discover the hidden gems so much as it is discovering those hidden gems. So, might be worth a read for everybody. Iain Dickie, of course, is the mad genius behind the pub games that I reviewed earlier, and that's part of the reason that I picked up this book. You can get it on Amazon. I'll throw a link to it in the description to this video. And in this book, Iain Dickie, now one of the things I'll point out is that Iain Dickie has a great style. I just love the way this guy writes. It's very much, he teaches you how to wargame as though he was sitting next to you in the pub. Just right here on the first page, right? We've got things like, as you read through it, here we go. He says, getting these, like life, wargaming is a series of compromises. Getting these variables just right for you can make the game after game satisfying, memorable, and pleasurable. Get them wrong, and you could be driven to a downward spiral of frustration, rage, and despair, and end up turning to golf or politics. Oh, just finger kisses. Mwah. That is just so perfect. And the book is riddled with stuff like that. So even if you're not getting a whole lot of new and unusual ideas out of this book, it's worth it just for the fun of the read. He covers everything from A to Z in this book. We'll take a look at the contents here real quick. Resources, basic do-it-yourself, how to make a table. How to make a table. When's the last time you saw somebody talk about the table construction? Playing surface, figures, how to make your own figures. How to make your own terrain, man-made features, ships and planes, and the game. He even includes the rules for a couple of games, but he takes a very old-school approach to gaming that is largely, look, here's a skeleton, figure it out yourself. You're a smart guy, figure out what the variables are, and build the rules from that. The book, so here, for example, let's start, I wish I could flip the other way. So, here's some brief plans. He actually has measured plans in here, too, for how to make a table that can fold up and stick under your bed if you don't have a whole lot of table space. There we go. See that? See that? Measurements and, quick and dirty. He tells you how to paint it. He recommends that you paint it with a ocean color so that you can throw bits of felt down to use as land. He shows how to use matchstick and basic construction card and styrofoam. Again, this isn't anything that's going to be new to anyone that's been wargaming for a long time, but this is visually inspiring. He goes into, how to carve your own figures. Are your figures going to be as good as the Perry figures? No, not the first one. Here's how you make a mold, using Legos. He even tells you where to find scrap lead. He warns you, stop looking at church roofs. But make friends with a plumber. I wouldn't recommend using lead. But you can probably buy this stuff at craft shops. Anyway, make your own figures. It's possible. It's doable. A couple of brief ideas on how to make trees and stuff. It's a fun book. Oops, sorry about that. Had to deal with some of the local wildlife here. As I was saying, I want to go back and talk in a little more detail about the rules that Iain Dickie provides in Wargaming on a Budget. The rules he provides are seriously incomplete by design. He gives wargamers a skeletal framework of considerations that they should take into account when they create their own rule sets. Iain Dickie is one of the men who built this hobby. I think this book is a valuable read for experienced wargamers, particularly the rules section, because it will help remind you of the fact that we are engaged in a hobby. We are hobbyists, not consumers. It's the difference between the McDonald's burger that you get from Games Workshop or Mantic, where you get a product and you consume the product and you wait for the next product to come down the pipeline. You know what's expected of you, you consume it as expected, and then you wait for the next one. That is what the so-called community has somehow morphed into. But that's not what wargaming is all about. Wargaming was built by men with the attitude of Iain Dickie, by guys in a basement with some cardstock and some Legos and a little bit of lead that they scraped off from underneath the sink to make their own figures. These figures here are 5mm figures. Who games in 5mm? Well, nobody, because nobody produces them. I can't consume 5mm figures. Well, if you're making one game for one table, why wouldn't you? There's no rules. This is a hobby. This is what built the hobby. And I can't tell you how liberating it is to adopt that attitude that everything you buy and everything you do at your table is yours to do with as you see fit. You have my permission to purchase whatever figures you want and use them however you want. I know that you guys know this. You're experienced wargamers. You're well-read. But it's useful to sometimes have that reminder that it's okay. Unclench and make your table your own. And if the people around you, if the people at your friendly local game store aren't interested in being hobbyists, but they would prefer to be consumers, that's fine. Go off and be consumers. And when the market collapses, we hobbyists, those of us that take the guts of the hobby seriously, will still be here to rebuild it even after the market crash. Heck, if you're one of those tinfoil hat guys that's convinced, and I'm not judging here, I'm just pointing out that there's a lot of people that are convinced that Western civilization is built on some rickety foundations right now and that we are headed for a collapse. You might want to get a hard copy of this just because if that collapse comes true, the only way to fulfill your wargaming needs by necessity is wargaming on a budget. So maybe even buy this and add it to your physical library just as insurance against that kind of high-level collapse. I mean, we'll all be too busy fighting each other for gasoline on the highways and wondering about how best to get into Valhalla, where things are shiny, chrome, and eternal. But just in case it's a low-grade collapse, you might want to have this on hand for that reason as well. So that's really about all I have to say is, I'm using this book review as an excuse to try to get you to be more of a hobbyist and less of a consumer. Spend more time digging into the guts of the hobby. Here, to use another analogy, it's the difference between somebody that buys Windows and uses Windows and somebody that buys Linux so that they can understand the heart and soul of what goes into the product that they're using and thereby better tinker with, what's the word I'm looking for here? Better design the product to meet their specific needs rather than molding yourself to fit the market. Mold your table to fit you. At the end of the day, I think you'll find that is very liberating. You're not beholden to anyone else's visions or ideals. And I think that you'll find that people are willing to follow along if you've got a strong vision. When you show up to your friendly local game store and say, I've got something you've never seen before, people will come for the novelty. They'll see the amount of hard work and effort that went into this 5mm Greek city, and they will be drawn to you. And in this way, we can be better wargamers. So, strong recommendation. Great for newbies, great for experienced guys. Pick up Iain Dickie's Wargaming on a Budget. You won't regret it. God bless Iain Dickie for writing this. God bless you for watching it. Have a great day.